Wildjosh, and this is Super Friendly from Geek-Cetera, and we're going to do a breakdown of the new trailer that was just released this weekend on Ready Player One, and also maybe talk about some of our theories that we have from watching this trailer several times and what we've come up with. We both read Ready Player One. It was one of our favorite books that we've read, so we're really excited for this video, and hopefully we'll be able to share something new that you haven't heard before. I know many people have done videos already and they've broken down certain things and they found Easter eggs, and we might not be reinventing the wheel here, but we're going to try to add something new and fresh. So we're just going to go through this trailer a little bit, scene by scene. I'll pause it at different spots and hopefully be able to show you things that we've discovered while we watch the trailer. So it starts off like every other trailer.
But I wish I'd grown up.
Love the updated logo.
Like all my heroes.
So we got a really cool rendition of the stacks, which if you've read the book or you're familiar with Ready Player One, is actually on the cover of the book. And they did a really nice job of making it look exactly the way I pictured it anyways. I don't know about you. When I saw this in this trailer, I thought that's what I envisioned.
Yeah, and I agree. I got totally wrapped up in this book. I read it in, 24 hours, and I have in my mind exactly how I would love to see this movie go. So to have it start off like this with the stacks looking exactly how I pictured it, it came from the cover of the book, so they couldn't stray too far. Very excited, because I've had movies where in the book, in my mind, it's got to be one way. I was totally disappointed. So at least this piece is not disappointing. It makes me very excited for the movie and the rest of the trailer.
So we're going to continue playing it. We're going to get our first look at Wade.
In 2045, it's still ranked the fastest growing city on Earth. But it sure doesn't seem like it when you live in the stacks.
Now we have Wade, what looks like entering his secret lair that he had.
Yeah, and it's definitely what I had in mind. You gotta keep in mind, for those of you that haven't read the book, this is Wade's home away from home. He doesn't live in the trailer, but it's kind of his safe zone. It's really just awesome to see, again, exactly how it's pictured, but knowing that this character, this is his fortress of solitude. So it's cool to see it for the first time.
We'll play again. He's gonna go into the trailer. He's putting his gear on to go into the Oasis, and we get to see some references to some 80s things. There's an Atari controller that looks like is attached to the wall, and then you also see some stickers and things. I'm pretty sure you see some Garbage Pail stickers, which is cool, nice reference to the 80s. And but we'll see what happens once he goes into the Oasis.
And if you look,
there's nowhere left.
The headgear that he's putting on, it looks like it's sewed together with zip ties. He's got some styrofoam in there. So yeah, it's lower quality than you might normally see, at least in this world.
And we can see he's putting on his IOI gear, which is a key element to the book and to the movie, as we're going to see further along.
Where? Except the Oasis.
I feel like there was a transition right there from standard video to a CGI Wade right there in his face, and the transition, it was pretty seamless. I love seeing that.
Mean anything?
So right here, right away, when Wade is walking into this room and it looks like a party's going on, we see people that are floating because there's no gravity in certain parts of this club that they're in. He walks past who we believe, and other videos have pointed this out as well, Harley Quinn and Deathstroke. Pretty neat that they added those two characters in. Now, from what we can tell in this scene, we're seeing the back of Wade here. Here's Deathstroke and Harley Quinn. We're pretty sure that this is Ogden Morrow's birthday party that was thrown, where they have a huge party for him at this club, and it seems pretty obvious to us that that's what this scene is showing.
And it sets up a big plot point in the book, because towards the end of it, you see the power that Og actually has. And it's a turning point to see that it gives them a glimmer of hope in this battle against the IOI.
Yeah. So besides Harley Quinn and Deathstroke, we actually have some other characters in this scene that we were able to point out. You can just start to see right here a guy who's tall, has shoulder-length hair, and is shirtless. We're pretty sure that that is Conan the Barbarian. You'll see another shot of him in a minute right here. It's a little clearer. It appears to be Conan the Barbarian. You also see some guys along the side that we're not 100% sure because the quality isn't as great, the visual quality in this scene. But there's some robots. One of them kind of looks like C-3PO. There's another one over here that looks like it could be something from Artificial Intelligence, a Steven Spielberg movie that was done a couple years back, AI. And so we're not sure if those were added in or if that's just our minds playing tricks on us, but it could be. But as we're gonna notice up here that there's gonna be some people floating around in this scene, and one of them looks very familiar.
Imagination.
This right here, this gentleman looks to be Gandalf, as far as we can tell. It's possible it's not, but to us it looks like him. Big long beard, grayish looking robe and hat. So very cool. I thought and my wife who read the book as well, when she read that scene and she knew that they were making the movie at the time she read the book, said, I don't know how they're gonna do that scene right. But from what I see here, they did a good job with it.
Yeah, I agree. Wildjosh and I, he's more sure that this is Gandalf than I am. I know that in the book, during the scene, it describes Og, who is a side character, but he's a friend of Wade. He's a friend of the heroes, and they describe him in the scene as an old wizard. He's supposedly wearing other clothes, so it definitely could be Gandalf. I think it might be Og, but it remains to be seen.
Yeah, and there could have been a change. We've seen several things from watching this trailer that weren't exactly the way the book had portrayed them. So it's possible that in this scene, this is Og, and they decided to portray him looking like a wizard. In the book, it talks about him wearing a Star Trek shirt and sandals.
Yep.
Not exactly what we see here, but it's possible again that they made the change for the movie, and we'll have to see.
And it's his party, so he might have gone through a lot of wardrobe changes, maybe every 10 minutes, who knows.
So we'll continue on with the video. We get
Warner Brothers makes all the great shows and movies like Animaniacs.
So here we have a really cool scene where we have this shadowy figure standing in the front. It took us watching it a few times because we weren't sure exactly if it was Wade or not, but we're pretty sure it's Wade because his hair is a little blonder than I was expecting, but we get another scene with him further along where he's in the DeLorean and he's got blondish hair and he looks like he's wearing a similar outfit to that scene as well. Now we have the Iron Giant standing right behind who we think is Wade, and behind that we have a figure, and we'll see him a little better if I forward it, that looks like a ninja, and we're pretty sure that's Shoto. Shoto and Daido and Shoto are two characters that are in the book. We think this is Shoto in this scene, and we see this force field looking bubble around what looks to be a palace, and we think this is the bubble that the IOI has set up to protect the last dungeon from other people being able to get in and complete it. We're not 100% sure, but that's what we think is happening in this scene.
I agree. This looks like what's going to set up to be the final battle in the final act of the book or of the movie. I really think that what's going on here is our main characters, our main protagonists, they're coming up and overlooking what should be a huge army of other avatars, characters who have banded together, guilds and other people who are playing the game as well, that are banding together to get through and beat the IOI at the game. So I'm looking forward to see like maybe even a Return of the King kind of moment with a speech, and pretty excited to see that. Now Iron Giant, we've been talking about this, pretty sure he's not a character reference to the 80s, and that has me a little scared because I was looking forward to see Voltron, Gundam, and maybe they weren't able to pull the rights to those characters that I was very excited to see. Awesome to see Iron Giant, right? Superman. But maybe we're not going to get to see everything we wanted to see.
Yeah, so it's possible they didn't have the rights to those things. So they're using something like the Iron Giant, which they were able to get the rights to in place of it. Either way, it is a cool scene. and the cool use of the Iron Giant. Not really from the 80s. I think Iron Giant was more 90s, but
Yeah.
but still pretty cool. This scene, to us, because of the way the lighting is, it to me looks, or I think personally, that this is in real world, not in the Oasis. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it does look like he's driving the DeLorean. So that kind of throws me off. I don't remember that he had the DeLorean in the real world. I only remember him having it in the book, in the Oasis. So if this is the real world and he has the DeLorean, that's really cool. I don't know how he got it. If it isn't and it's something in the Oasis, then I understand. Or it's very possible that we just can't see clearly and it's some other vehicle that looks similar to the DeLorean but not the DeLorean. This scene is a little bit of an area of contention for us both. I think this scene is after the Copper Key, or for the Copper Key, when he has to joust to get to move on. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. We see he's standing on this scorpion-looking thing, and what is coming at him look to be ostriches with poles that look like they're trying to knock him off his scorpion. And we're going to see as this advances a little bit that the scorpion is actually going to grab one of the ostriches and it's going to turn into a green egg, which is again referenced to Joust. Now in the book, that's not exactly how it happened. He went through this dungeon, he gets to the boss at the end, and he has to face off against the boss in a game of vintage arcade Joust, standing at cabinets together, doing the vintage arcade Joust, not a CG Joust where they're actually jousting each other on the characters from the game Joust. So
this is great. I want to see button smashing. I want to see a joystick and some buttons on an arcade game. Can we give me that?
I don't know that you're getting that.
I want to get that. If they can give me all this beautiful CGI, all these things we really want to see, can't they give us the number one thing, what's actually in the book?
I wonder if they felt that that would be too boring of a boss scene for that just two guys standing at a cabinet bashing buttons. Now, I think it would have been hilarious because they would have him going through this creepy dungeon and all this, you know, eerie stuff going on, and then he gets to the end and the final boss fight is just two guys standing in a vintage arcade cab playing Joust. That would have been awesome to me. But I'm guessing that they felt that it needed to be bigger and needed to be badder, and that's why they're actually in the game of Joust instead of just playing the game of Joust. And I could be totally wrong about this scene, but I feel like this is obviously ostriches coming at him, which are from Joust. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. He's got the scorpion's got the ostrich, and then boom, turns into a green egg. Now here we got another scene with this unknown looking character jumping at Freddy Krueger, Duke Nukem, and some other guy. I'm not exactly sure who this is. When I first watched this, the first thing I asked when I was done watching the trailer for the first time is, who is the orc guy? I looked through the book and I couldn't figure out who it was, but I've discovered who it was because you're going to see in a minute. It's very clear who this character is. A neat thing is when we watch this scene in the trailer, he's going to this orc guy is going to take out Freddy Krueger and this unknown guy over here. What happens to them when they get shot is really cool. They're going to explode and turn into currency that is going to be sucked into him. So just like playing a video game, this is how they get their currency, is through kills. So boom, we see currency sucking into this character. This is the nice close-up of this orc dude. And if you look right here on his chest, I'm going to try to pause it at the right moment, but we're going to find out who this is. Right there it says A-E-C-H. So this is H. Not what he looks like at all in the book. In the book, it talks about him having dark hair, being tall, somewhat handsome. This is the opposite of that. This is a bald, orcish-looking man. What do you think about that?
But you gotta remember, this is 2025, so who knows what really defines attractive in 2025?
Well, he's bald. No hair.
Bald is beautiful right now.
I'm not saying this fellow is hideous, but he's not exactly what H was portrayed as in the book. For some reason, they decided to make a change. I have no idea.
But the way H portrays himself in the video game is not how H really is in real life.
That's true, but the book says H's avatar had dark hair, was tall and handsome. This is not what it talks about.
It's true.
Either way, they did change. They did sway from what the book says. Maybe they had some reasons for that. We'll have to see. But that does answer the question of who the orc is. It's definitely H. It says it on his name, right on his chest. So, as you've noticed, possibly, while this trailer has been playing, we've been getting a slowed down, different version of Pure Imagination, which is from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It was hard to pick out right away. I knew the music sounded familiar, but after I watched the trailer a few times, I was like, oh, that is definitely Pure Imagination. It's just been slowed down and tweaked a little bit so that it's a different version of Pure Imagination, but really cool. But the song is about to change, and it was another good choice that they picked. Right here we go into the IOI, who is running out to load into some different cars that are around. We are not 100% sure what this scene is. We can't find reference to this scene in the book at all, but there are a couple neat things. If you want to point out some of the things on your side, super friendly. Christine, that's Christine from the movie, the Stephen King movie. And then we have the A-Team van there on the side. So it looks like these are all IOI characters that are getting into these, so it's possible some of the IOI people are getting into those vehicles as well. They've decided to change the way their vehicle looks or something.
You know what I'm noticing too is these blue things here kind of look like portals to me.
Yeah, they do look like portals. I don't know that we see anyone come out of them, but an interesting observation.
Yeah, they could be tempered glass. They could be just a spyglass or whatever. But it almost looks like they're portals for IOI to get around in. And also, right here, we're going to get a better view, but you see these two characters talking here, and we're going to get a better view, see exactly who at least the girl is.
Yeah, we can tell who the girl is at a scene. It seems very clear to me who she is. The guy, I'm not 100% sure who he is. But we're also going to see up here, there's some screens or holographic screens, and at one point, you can tell that it looks like it's talking about the copper key. We just don't know exactly what it's saying in reference to the copper key. So this could be coming around the announcement that the copper key has been found or something to that extent. We can't exactly say for sure. So right here you can see it says copper key. What it says before the word copper key, very hard to make out, and we can't exactly say.
You know, I'm going to venture a guess here. So the copper key ends here, and then it says the copper key again here. So there's another word, and it looks like W-I-N. So it looks like it's saying win, and I can make out the W here. So I'm guessing that what they're saying is win the copper key right here.
So if that's the case, could this be at the very beginning when the contest is announced, Halliday dies, they announce this contest, and this is IOI getting the jump on trying to find the copper key?
Yeah, it could very well be. This might be exactly when they start the game and you see how determined IOI is, you see how big the corporation is. It would actually be a great introduction to the villain just to see the manpower that they have to go out and try to do this.
And we see some Sixers here all getting into their vehicles. So in a minute I'm going to advance it and we're going to see who that the lady was that was standing over there by the car. So right there, we get a very clear shot of who looks to be Laura Croft. The man in front of her talking to Lara Croft is a guy with a cowboy hat. He's wearing what looks to be like a leather jacket. I don't know who exactly it is. It could be the guy from StarCraft. I don't know for sure though. And so I'd love to hear who you think it is. You do get a fairly clear shot of his backside, but not his face. So it's hard to say for certainty. But this, I'm almost 100% sure, is Lara Croft. She's wearing the teal tank top, and she's got the cut-off shorts, and it looks exactly like her.
And even that little trademark hair being pulled down in front of her bangs.
So again, we see A-Team Van, we see Christine right there, and then we have a shot of an F1 car. There's another shot of an F1 car later on. I'm not exactly sure why they decided to add F1 cars, but I thought it was an interesting touch that not all the vehicles look exactly the same.
And right here, oh sorry.
No, go ahead.
Right here you can see, and we're going to get a better image, but first of all, it tells me what good graphics they had to do this movie, but you get an image of a Statue of Liberty, so you know in the background here, we're in New York, even if it's just in the game in New York.
There's our first, and I missed it with the pause, but there's our first introduction to Artemis. Here we have a clear shot of a monster truck jumping over some of the Sixers cars, and we can see that it definitely is H, the same character that we mentioned earlier, the orcish looking character, and he's driving this monster truck. Now at first I thought it was just a monster truck. Later on, if I can pause it just right, we'll see that this isn't just any monster truck, it's actually a specific monster truck. Right here, this is definitely the motorcycle from Akira, and from all we can tell, it seems like Artemis is riding this. That goes along with what the book said that Artemis rode on the motorcycle from Akira. So here is the scene where we see right at the bottom here, the monster truck, H's monster truck coming into the screen. And we'll look at the tail of this truck as it starts to dip down towards the track. Again, you can't really see it very clearly here either, but right there you can see it said Bigfoot. So H is actually driving Bigfoot. If any of you grew up,
There's a B and a G right here.
yeah, there is a clear scene of it. It's hard to really get and pause it and stop where you can see it very clearly, but it does say Bigfoot, and that's pretty clear. Here again we see the bike from Akira, and I just noticed it actually says Atari right there, and it has the Atari symbol. That's pretty cool. Right on the front of the bike that Artemis is driving, it says Atari. So they just littered this trailer with Easter eggs and references to the 80s and pop culture.
And probably just littered the movie with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see clearly Artemis here. And then here, again, we see the DeLorean come into play, and we get our first somewhat clear, but not really that clear, image of Wade driving the DeLorean. Looks to be the same character that we saw earlier where he was standing in front of the Iron Giant. Again, we see this scene, we have no idea what this scene is. It seems like all the contestants are driving in these different cars. The IOI and the Sixers are there, and there's these wrecking balls swinging through New York City. This is not in the book that I could find.
Yeah, I couldn't find it in the book either. And if it is at a point where we're just getting into the big villain and they're starting the game, they might be changing Wade a little bit, because if he's driving the DeLorean, he didn't have the money to be able to do that. He was stuck on
Ludus.
He was stuck on Ludus without very much money, just trying to play the game, going to school. So they might be playing around with the narrative too.
Yeah, it's very possible. And like we said, they might have added this into it for some other reason. Maybe they felt that they needed to give the movie more action sequences, and they felt that this would be a good way of doing that. But we don't think this is from the original book. We do see some interesting cars in here, and I might have missed some pictures. I watched this video a few times and paused all the way through, and you do see Mad Max's vehicle, and you also see what I'm pretty sure is Kit. I missed those back a little bit ago, but if you watch again, you might be able to see Mad Max's vehicle and also Kit. Right there, I missed it on the pause though. We see on the corner Mad Max's vehicle was flipping. This, I just paused it here, and we see a face reflected in Wade's mask here for his nerve gear, I think is what they called it in the book. I'm not exactly sure who that face is, but interesting. I didn't notice that in the first time through. And that last piece, if you haven't read the book, is the final key to the unlocking the grand prize, the crystal key. So we see that was a really neat portrayal of that key. So that was the end of the trailer, pretty much. That's it. So what did you think? Leave us comments. We'd love to know. Did we miss something? What do you have for theories? We'd love to hear about it. Please leave us comments below on this video, and we'll try to reply to them and see if we can pick up more things that were in this trailer that we may have missed.
Yeah.
If you liked our video on Ready Player One, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We hope to have more videos coming soon in the future. And also, we try to get together once a week and do a podcast for iTunes. It's called Geek-Cetera. Check us out there. Subscribe to us on iTunes. And we really hope you enjoyed what we have. And we thank you for watching.
Thank you.